He comes.
I think we're ready to get started.
Okay, so we're ready. All right. All right, this meeting's called to order. This is the April 30th, 2026 Contractors Licensing Board meeting. Okay, so public notice of this meeting was properly posted at the Synergy Business Park, King Street Building, and on the agency's website, and provided to all requesting persons, organizations, and news media in accordance with Section 30-4-80 of the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? No. Motion carries. Okay, introduction of board members. So I guess, Terry, we'll start at your end if you want to go ahead and make some introduction to yourself.
Sure. Terry Markham, Public Utility Representative.
Gibbs, Mechanical Contractor Representative.
I'm Scott Appleton, the General Contractors Representative.
Good morning, Courtney Walsh, Public Representative.
Morning, Keith Lindler, Public Representative.
Lee Richardson, Electrical Representative.
Dan Lehman, Security and Fire Representative.
Thanks. And John Williams is not here, so that goes into the next one. Next item is approval of excused absences. John Williams has got a scheduling conflict, so do I have a motion to excuse his absence?
Make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, approval of the meeting minutes. Item 6 is approval of the meeting minutes from the January 29th, 2026 board meeting. It's pages 2 through 6. So do I have a motion to, I guess, just take a look at that, and then I'll like to hear a motion to approve those meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. As far as board chairman remarks, I'd like to thank Lee for your years of service as chairman. So what a great job Lee did. So this is my first meeting as chairman, so just have patience with me. So that's all I ask. All right, moving on to the next item is on the agenda is item 8, staff reports. So we'll go ahead and get your report, Jonathan.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Before I get into my board executive report, I would like to formally introduce Ms. Christina Dudley, who has been promoted to administrative coordinator for the board. Having served as an administrative assistant within the board for over 2 years, we are confident she will excel in this new capacity. Just a reminder, please make clear motions and speak directly into the microphone so the court reporter and staff can take the meeting minutes. The cash report is located on page 7 of your meeting materials. As of March 31st, 2026, the board has a cash balance of $87,883.25. The licensure statistics start on page 8 through 11 of your meeting materials. There are currently 11,851 licensed general contractors and 7,684 licensed mechanical contractors. There are currently 547 licensed burglar alarm companies, 6,763 burglar alarm registered employees, 414 licensed fire alarm companies, and 240 licensed fire sprinkler companies. The burglar, fire alarm, and fire sprinkler renewals will open this coming Monday, May 4th, 2026, and general contractor renewals will open in August. The PSI exam report starts on page 12 of your meeting materials. Since the last board meeting on January 29th, 2026, there have been 1,512 total exams taken for licensure, with an overall pass rate of 60.25%. The next board meeting is scheduled for Thursday, July 30th, 2026, in the same room. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Jonathan. Okay, next on the agenda is item 8B, which would be Office of Investigations and Enforcement, OIE. Mr. Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Contractors Licensing Board Office of Investigation and Enforcement Status Report, April 30th, 2026. As of January 1st of 2026 to April 20th, 2026, there have been 215 complaints filed with this board. There are 43 active investigations, 104 cases have been closed, and 68 cases pending other action. Burglar fire alarm, January 1st of 2026 through April 20th, 2026, there have been 7 complaints filed with this board. There are 0 active investigations. 2 cases have been closed and 5 cases pending other action. This is just FYI information. Move on to the Contractors Licensing Board IRC report for April 30th, 2026. IRC dates of March 5th, 2026 and April 16th of 2026. There are 26 cases for your approval for dismissal. There are 6 cases for formal complaints, 6 cases for citations, and 1 case for a letter of caution. This you will vote on.
Do I have a motion to approve the IRC report dates March 5th, 2026 and April 16th, 2026?
Make a motion.
Second? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. The reports are approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, next is Mr. Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The ODC status report is in your materials. It requires no vote by the board, is for information purposes only. I know y'all have a pretty full agenda today. I'll be happy to entertain any questions about that document. If none, though, we can move on to the few disciplinary matters we have for the board to consider.
Okay, I think we'll go ahead and go on to the final order hearings report and accepted hearing officer recommendations, and we'll go ahead and do the 2020-382 first. And we'll go into closed session. Yeah. So do I have a motion to go into closed session? Or do we need to do that, or is it, okay? Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Have an uneventful afternoon.
Okay. Okay, so do I have a motion to come out of the comfort break?
Motion to come out of closed session.
Second, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. We're back in session now. So we're now to application hearings. The first two, 10A, which is Jonathan Saxon Ivester, that's been continued. And then also for item 10B, is that One Vision USA Security? And Michael Lee Mitchell, that's being continued also.
Yes, sir.
So now that gets us down to Faith Mountain Plumbing Services, Inc. Sit right there, it'd be great. And then just speak into the microphone when it's time for you to speak, okay? All right, so this hearing is called to order. A quorum of the board is present. This matter is being held in person with proper notice given to the applicant. This is the matter of Faith Mountain Plumbing Services, Inc., CLM 115560, Adam Ray Murray, CQM 30175PQ. Does any member of the board have reason to be recused from consideration of this application? So hearing none. The purpose of this hearing is to determine whether Faith Mountain Plumbing Services, Inc.'s mechanical contractor renewal application can be approved. This hearing will be held in accordance with the relevant provisions of the Board's Practice Act and in compliance with the provisions of the South Carolina Administrative Procedures Act. Everyone is reminded that these proceedings are being recorded and that all witnesses must be sworn before they testify. All remarks should be directed to the chair. Mr. Eversfield, is a complete application package in our materials?
Yes, sir.
What question did staff have concerning this application?
Faith Mountain Plumbing Services, Inc. submitted a renewal application to the board on September 23, 2025 for renewal of their Group 3 mechanical contractor's license with the plumbing classification and Mr. Murray listed as the primary qualifying party. Background question number 2 on the renewal application was answered yes. This question states, since you last renewed, or if this is your first renewal since your initial licensure, has this entity or any owner, officer, partner, member of this entity, or any qualifying party had a professional license or certificate denied, suspended, revoked, or otherwise been disciplined in South Carolina or any other state or jurisdiction? Upon review of the application, it was determined that the license could not be approved at the staff level due to having a North Carolina consent order dated February 15th, 2024, that imposed a suspension and supervised probation period on respondent's license or certification and concerns with the fulfillment of those conditions imposed by the order. In reviewing this application, staff reviewed South Carolina Code Sections 40-1-130 and 40-11-130, subsection A2.
Okay. Did staff subpoena any other persons to be here today to answer questions we might have?
No, sir.
Okay, is the applicant present?
Sir.
Okay. Is either the respondent or, I guess, do you have an attorney? And your company doesn't have an attorney representing the company? Okay. Do you understand that you have the right to be represented by a counsel of your own choosing in this matter?
Yes.
Okay. So you, Adam Ray Murray, you're electing to waive that right and represent yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is respondent Faith Mountains Plumbing Services, Inc. electing to waive that right and have respondent Adam Ray Murray represent it pursuant to a written authorization of corporate representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any witnesses that you intend to call to testify on your behalf?
Yeah, I brought a character witness.
Okay, so if we go ahead and swear them in, I guess we can swear everyone in now? Yeah, so we'll swear you in and your witness.
Okay.
Okay. So, Mr. Murray, you ready to show us why we should approve the renewal of your mechanical contractor's license?
Would you like the information of why I got put on probation in North Carolina, or does that matter here?
So you heard what Mr. Eversfield brought up, and so there was something happened, and North Carolina took, or decided you. So we
Yeah.
want to know why, and why
Okay.
do you think we shouldn't, take action on
So,
your license?
what happened was one of my employees went out on a Friday evening, installed a pressure-reducing valve on a home that we actually did the whole home. It was a tiny home. We did the hookup, did development, and permitted all of them, got them all green tagged, no issues. Now, a year after this project had closed out, one of the people living in the homes had a pressure issue. So we went back on a Friday evening, installed a pressure reducing valve on her system to keep it from blowing off at the water heater. I did not pull a permit to do so. Really wasn't aware, needed a permit to do that. That's my fault, and that's where I take the blame. But that's why I got stuck on this probation. And so they gave me 32 months. In that 32 months, I think I've got 3 or 4 months left. My wife helped me prepare this for each board member, just stating from the state of North Carolina communication email that we've done all our classes. I've got no more classes to do. We're right at the end of all our paperwork. I have the certification of completion for all those classes I brought with me just to show the board. I have a file for each board member if that's necessary. And then my wife printed off our Google standing of how many reviews that we have and where we stand, and the good reviews with customers we've kept for, I've been in business for 16 years for myself. And I think she put in here also like the best of 2025 we got in Asheville is elected from consumers in the community. So we won that in Buncombe County, Asheville City. So we're not like a fly-by-night company that's out trying to do wrong things. We did make a mistake and paid dearly for it because we have to turn in our paperwork every quarter. And when you do, we only have 7 employees in the field. And so with 7 employees in the field, we do between $1.3 and $1.5 million a year, which is a low number, but we don't have that many employees, so we do a lot of work. And having that kind of work, we've kept an incredible reputation. We did make the mistake of not pulling the permit. It's just an unknown thing. The Board of North Carolina hit me hard because they said I should have known. And they're right, I should have known. So going forward, I'm not foul about having to be on this probation. It's actually made us better. And we do more paperwork and we jump through hoops that my competition have no idea like what's required of us in the state. So I've made myself very aware of like what we have to do things right. So we're right here at the end of it. I did bring the paperwork to prove that I'm right here at the end of it, and we've followed through with everything. Now, as far as South Carolina, we don't do a whole lot of work in the state. We do a little bit. We did the Home Depots in Myrtle Beach. We do a little bit of service here and there, but primarily our work is in North Carolina. But we love having the opportunity to work in the state because it opens up our opportunity for revenue here also. And we're in good standing. We've, never had any kind of inspection denials or any kind of complaints on our work in the state. But the last one was in Myrtle Beach Home Depot. It was all green tags and no issues. I don't know what else I could answer.
Right, so do you want to have, I guess, if there's any questions, we can do questions, or we're going to have your witness, I guess, say whatever has to say about.
Yeah, also in the file, there's his license. I've known Billy Green for 20-something years. We started out, he knew me before I had my license. We worked for a big corporation in Asheville, MB Haynes corporation. I worked under Billy. He's also been licensed for many years. I brought him because he's known me for so many years, but he's also a North Carolina licensed plumber himself. So just
So he's
as
a peer, basically? A peer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So if you want to come sit down next to Mr. Murray, and you can speak into that microphone right there.
Yeah, I've known Adam for a long time, and we started, like I said, MB Haynes. When we done anywhere, universities, the Budweiser plants, FedEx buildings, everything, hospitals down in Charleston. I mean, we done it, and he's always working. When I started my own business, he helped me. Excellent work for me. I've never had a problem, no issues with him. He's always went by the code, and it's just one of them things where we've all in times overlooked something, and as one time he overlooked.
Yeah, just move it towards you, yeah.
There you go, thank you.
Yeah.
Just make sure it's up. It's red now. There you go.
And he does real good work. I mean, I trust him to do anything for me, and he's run a bunch of work for me on commercial. A lot of the urgent cares and about everything. And I let him right off the bat.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Murray, you want to say?
have any other questions.
Oh, no, yeah, well, so I'll open up to the other board members to have, if they've got any questions for you or your witness, so, any questions?
This incident, it looks like it's just one incident, is that?
Here's the funny thing. So the first incident was a 1099. North Carolina don't allow you to do 1099s. So in 2010, when I started my business, my first employee got a 1099. We corrected it ourselves because my payroll lady was like, hey, we have a plumbing company. Also, you're not allowed to do this. So we fixed it. 2015, the guy that was working under me used his 1099 to get his license, like to count for his hours. And so the plumbing board hit me with that. So I was in my last week of getting over that. And then I got hit with the next thing. So because you're on probation already, even if it doesn't matter if it's minor or if it's harsh, because I was still in probation, they hit me really, really hard.
So you got like a 32-month probation?
Yeah, actually, not to sound like a wuss or anything, but at the end of that interview, I said, where's the mercy in the board? This seems kind of harsh. I just started weeping because this is our livelihood. I've got 10 employees altogether, so I got people that work under me. If I lose my license, they lose their livelihood, and so I take it very seriously. We have a really awesome protocol at our shop. We have, not that it matters here, but we have prayer, we have preaching. We're about having good character, and I teach these young men that work for me to go out in the community and have good character. So it's something that we don't take lightly. We try to set ourselves apart from other companies as far as having virtue and good standing, so that we're not, we don't want to be spoken of as just a random company that come to take your money.
And your probation period is almost up?
I think it's August, it'll be over.
August 15th.
I've complied with everything. I have no more classes, no more money to spend. So my wife's stressing, going, we're at the end. So we're praying that this will be.
Okay, so Mr. Murray, any other questions? Okay, you had some documents you said that your wife prepared. I'm looking at the board members. Does anyone want to see those documents? Maybe we should take a few minutes to review those. So if you want to, I guess, show the court reporter or not, do we just bring them to you, Charlie?
We can mark them as an exhibit,
Okay.
at least one of them as an exhibit, if you want to give it to the court reporter.
right, I think that was a pretty quick read, is that right? So is there any additional relevant evidence, information you want to bring up? Okay. Well, thank you. Your case is submitted. Do I have a motion for the disposition of this case?
I'd like to note that, you know, he did put this down, answered the application truthfully, which we've seen a lot of things other than that by other people. He's come in here, he's made an effort to fix the problem. To me, the problem was relatively minor, and you might have gotten a little pretty harsh treatment from the North Carolina board. So for all those reasons, I would make a motion that we approve this application.
Have a second? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. So,
Thank you.
yep, so your license is renewed, so.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll take care of everything.
All right, so next up is 10D Edwards Electrical LLC, Harley Edwards. Yeah, so if you want to sit down right there, yeah. Do you have any witnesses?
No, not really.
All right, this hearing is called to order. A quorum of the board is present. This matter is being held in person with the proper notice given to the applicant. This is the matter of Edwards Electrical LLC, CLM 115966, Harley Edwards, CQM 30567PQ. Does any member of the board have reason to be recused from consideration of this application? Hearing none, the purpose of this hearing is to determine whether Edwards Electrical LLC's mechanical contractor renewal application can be approved. This hearing will be held in accordance with the relevant provisions of the Board's Practice Act and in compliance with the provisions of the South Carolina Administrative Procedures Act. Everyone is reminded that these proceedings are being recorded and that all witnesses must be sworn before they testify. All remarks should be directed to the chair. Mr. Eversfield, is a complete application package in our materials?
Yes, sir.
What question did staff have concerning this application?
Edwards Electrical LLC submitted a renewal application to the board on January 15th, 2026 for renewal of their Group 2 mechanical contractor's license with the electrical classification and Mr. Edwards listed as the owner and primary qualifying party. Background question number 1 on the renewal application was answered yes. This question states, has this entity or any owner, officer, partner, or member of this entity been convicted of, pled guilty, or nolo contendere to a crime other than a minor traffic offense? In this renewal application, criminal convictions were disclosed that were not previously disclosed on the 2021 initial application, nor on the 2023 renewal application. Most notably, the involuntary manslaughter conviction in 2011. He also had a simple assault misdemeanor conviction in 2002 and a misdemeanor drug conviction in 2011. Upon review of the application, it was determined that the renewal application could not be approved at staff level due to items appearing on Mr. Edwards' criminal background report and concerns with the failure to disclose the criminal convictions on prior applications with the board. In reviewing this application, staff reviewed South Carolina Code Sections 40-1-110, 40-1-130, 40-11-110, subsection A8, 40-11-130, subsection A6, and 40-11-130, subsection A9.
Did staff subpoena any other persons to be here today to answer questions we might have?
No, sir.
Okay. Is the applicant present?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So is either respondent or you, Mr. Edwards, are you represented by an attorney?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you understand that you have the right to be represented by a counsel of your own choosing in this matter?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is Respondent Harley Edwards electing to waive that right and represent himself?
Yes, sir.
Is Respondent Edwards Electrical LLC electing to waive that right and have Respondent Harley Edwards represent it pursuant to a written authorization of corporate representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you have any witnesses? You said no, right? So,
No.
okay. So we'd like to go ahead and swear in your, okay. All right. So, Mr. Edwards, you ready to tell us why you should have your license renewed?
I am fairly certain that I filled that out, and I never shy away from my criminal history or what happened. I believe I also disclosed that when I opened my cafe in Somerville to get a business license as well.
So,
I mean, I've always been open and honest about, what happened back then. 16, well, I was charged in 2009, so it's been close to 20 years.
So do you want to go into details of what happened back then? I guess you could go, you heard Mr. Eversfield, what he brought up, that there was some, I guess in your background, let's see, 2011 and I guess 2002. That's what you were bringing up, right, Jonathan?
Yes, sir. And on his initial application from 2021, all of the background questions were answered no. That's on page 226 in your meeting materials. And then that's followed by the renewal application in 2020, which was also answered no.
Okay, so 2023 was answered no and 2021 was answered no.
Correct.
And then 2025, he answered yes. Okay. So that's the information we've got.
I thought I wrote out an explanation, when I originally filled out the thing, like I did with my cafe. I'm not sure why it would be marked no.
Guess what we'd like to hear then is just explain to what happened back in 2011, then that's kind of in your background, and we had some no answers.
Yeah.
And then we had a yes answer in 25.
Yeah.
So what we see is like a truthful answer in 25 and then not a truthful answer in 23 and 21 renewals, but that, I guess, got by us.
Yeah, I had my wife helping me with the paperwork when I'm recently divorced, but I'm fairly certain I filled that out for it to be submitted. In regards to the incident in 2011, I got into a fight over a girl. I had a guy attack me with a baseball bat and then pull a knife on me during the confrontation. He didn't make it. It was a nonviolent crime without intent. He just, during the scuffle, things didn't go well.
What was the disposition of that? Did you get incarcerated or anything like that, or was it just?
I did get incarcerated, yes, sir.
And then you served your time?
Yeah.
Okay.
And during that time, I taught GED classes, I taught carpentry, I taught electrical, I helped people get their journeyman's license. Since getting out of prison, I got 3 degrees. I got a degree in automation, industrial construction, and business. I graduated magna cum laude and was invited to teach at Trident Technical as an adjunct professor, which I still do.
Then in 2002, I know that's even further back, but what was in the background for 2002? So
I think I just got into a fist fight. I think I was like 21, 22,
okay.
simple kid stuff, I guess.
So the last incident which got you in trouble with the law was 2011?
2009. The disposition was in 2011 because you have to go through court procedures and everything.
That the drug possession charge?
It was both of them.
Okay.
That I was giving a guy a ride home from work. The homeowner asked me to give him a ride home, and I got pulled over, and it was kind of like a hands of one, hands of all thing. You know, just kind of got stuck with it. I didn't have any drugs or anything like that.
What was, I guess, what happened with that case? Did you do time for that, or did you ticket, or what?
They ran it in with the involuntary manslaughter charge.
Okay, so that was all wrapped up.
Yeah,
Okay. And how much time did you serve?
about 4.5 years.
4.5 years. And then were you on probation?
No, sir.
Okay, so you just released and,
No, when it was time for me to go for parole, I just wanted to be done with it and served out the rest of my sentence so that I'd be free and clear to, because like if you're on probation, you're stuck within the system. And I moved from Anderson to Charleston and just hit the ground running, right? Like, you know, like I said, I was going to school time for, 18 credit hours a semester, plus working full time as an electrician, as well as being a MC for team trivia 4 times a night or 4 times a week. Like I put in the work.
okay. Is there any additional relevant evidence you'd like to talk about or explain that we hadn't, or you pulled out of you through questioning?
I mean, my friend's here. I didn't realize this is what this was about. I thought it was over financial disclosures or something like that. I wasn't totally aware that this was going to be in the line of what this hearing was about today. If he could be a character witness.
Well, the reason you're here today is that it was failure to disclose your criminal convictions back in 21 and 23, and you did the right thing in 25, and you have an explanation of what happened. So we're kind of like, why did that happen?
Yeah,
so any more you can shed light on 21, 23, why did you not have that as a yes and explain it back then?
If I remember correctly, I filled out because they asked for an explanation, and my ex-wife was supposed to send it in. She handled all the office work and stuff like that. I was out in the field working. I actually never planned on opening a electrical contracting company. We were operating Team Trivia of Charleston, was doing very well, and the pandemic happened. And when you're doing live hosted trivia in bars and restaurants, and they shut down all the bars and restaurants, right? And then I think, as everybody remembers, construction went through the roof during the pandemic because it was, and people, because I've been doing this so long and had such a good reputation. I was with DM Stone for a very long time as an office manager and field superintendent running jobs. People started calling me, and it just kind of ballooned into what it is today.
It sounds like maybe, so there are 3 forms, 21, 23, and 25.
Yeah.
It sounds as if, tell me if I'm wrong or misunderstanding, but maybe 25 you filled out on your own without your ex-wife's assistance.
Yes, sir.
Is it possible that, and I'm not saying that you're not responsible for a form that you signed, but is it possible that she had filled out the forms in 21 and 23?
Well, I distinctly remember filling out where it says, your explain what happened, like I just did to you, and exactly what I did in 2025, right? And like I said, she basically did the office work and emailed everything out while I was working in the field. So, if I'm not sure if she made a clerical error at the time or what, but I would not disclose, that. Actually, I take, pride in the fact of having to start from nothing, actually at a negative, and what I did, to the point of becoming a college professor, in a short period of time. I don't look at that as a detriment to my past. I look at it as, look what somebody can do if they really apply themselves.
So is it fair to say that when I look at 21 and 23, where it indicates that, where it doesn't, where it says that you were not convicted of a felony, that's maybe just an error?
Yes, sir.
And that 25, you read that form and filled it out correctly and honestly?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I've always tried to be upfront and honest. Like I said, I don't see that part of my life as a detriment. It was a learning experience. If it didn't happen, I probably would have never went back to college. I'd never, be a college professor. I'd never, right? That was a defining moment in my life where, it was like sink or swim. You couldn't just go along to get along. I had a philosophy that you had to be better, smarter, faster than anybody else if you're going to make it, and I did, I really did.
Okay, so I've got Charlie gave me the 23-25 application basically in what this says, since your last renewed, has this entity or owner, officer, partner, member of this entity or any qualifying party been convicted, pled guilty, nolo contendere in the U.S. or foreign country of a felony or of the offense of forgery, embezzlement, obtaining money under false pretenses, theft, extortion, or conspiracy to defraud or other like offense? No to that one, but I guess what we're saying is he could have selected no to that one with his conviction. But in 21, he should have disclosed it, having been convicted of a felony crime, so.
Yeah, that was an honest error.
So
like I said.
it's kind of even a little murkier now. It looks like in 23 might be okay, 26 or 25, 26. I think it was 2026 is the application, right? January is what I read.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I know we started going 2025, but that's really 2026, but.
Yeah, my I just went through a terrible divorce, and my wife kind of hijacked my email and then migrated it to another company, and I didn't get the notices to renew. It's been a whole entire horrific thing.
All right, so any other information?
No, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, so do I have a motion to dispose of the matter, or we're going to executive session?
I'll make a motion that due to the length of time that's passed since these violations, and I would have preferred to have seen this disclosed on the previous applications, but I guess he disclosed it on this one, and if his intent was to hide it and he had gotten away with it twice, he probably would have done it again. So I would think that was an oversight with the situation with his wife, and for those reasons, I'd move to approve this application.
Okay, do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. So you're renewed now, so.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.
But
Thank
all right, so on to, I guess it's Sine Wave Electrical Services and Ian Baxter, item 10E. So please have a seat. Okay, This hearing is called to order. A quorum of the board is present. This matter is being held in person with proper notice given to the applicant. This is the matter of Sine Wave Electrical Services, CLM 116695, Ian J. Baxter, CQM 31216PQ. Does any member of the board have reason to be recused from consideration of this application? Hearing none, the purpose of this hearing is to determine whether Sine Wave Electrical Services mechanical contractor renewal application can be approved. This hearing will be held in accordance with the relevant provisions of the Board's Practice Act and in compliance with the provisions of the South Carolina Administrative Procedures Act. Everyone is reminded that these proceedings are being recorded and that all witnesses must be sworn before they testify. All remarks should be directed to the chair. Mr. Eversfield, is a complete application package in our materials?
Yes, sir.
What questions did staff have concerning this application?
Sine Wave Electrical Services submitted a renewal application to the board on October 27th, 2025, and on January 15th, 2026, for renewal of their Group 2 mechanical contractor's license with the electrical classification and Mr. Baxter listed as the owner and primary qualifying party. Background question number 1 on the renewal application was answered yes. This question states, has this entity or any owner, officer, partner, or member of this entity been convicted of, pled guilty, or nolo contendere to a crime other than a minor traffic offense? In this renewal application, criminal convictions were disclosed, most notably the second-degree assault misdemeanor conviction in 2017. Upon review of the application, it was determined that the renewal application could not be approved at staff level due to items appearing on Mr. Baxter's criminal background report. Specifically, Mr. Baxter was convicted of second-degree assault misdemeanor in 2017. In reviewing this application, staff reviewed South Carolina Code Sections 40-1-110, 40-1-130, and 40-11-130.
And did staff subpoena any other persons to be here today to answer questions we might have?
No, sir.
Okay. Is the applicant present?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is either respondent represented by an attorney? Okay. Do you understand that you have the right to be represented by counsel of your own choosing in this matter?
I do.
Okay. Is respondent Ian J. Baxter electing to waive that right and represent himself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is respondent Sine Wave Electrical Services electing to waive that right and have respondent Ian J. Baxter represent it pursuant to a written authorization of corporate representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I guess tell us why. Well, let me stop there. Do you have any witnesses? Okay. So we'll go. Okay. So, Mr. Baxter, are you ready to show us why we should consider renewing your license?
Honestly, I'm hoping you do. I'm a 62-year-old man. Been doing this for 40-some years. Never really had any complaints or problems as far as my work or my ethics. But I did make a mistake on my original application and corrected it on my new application. And I'm trying to be as forthcoming as I possibly can.
Okay. So back in 22, your application was selected no, and felony or crime involving moral turpitude, I guess, is. So what was your crime? What were you convicted of?
I was convicted of second-degree assault. No fighting, punching, or anything like that, but I had more of a domestic thing where I escorted after 3 years of kind of torture. I got, cop came, I told him exactly what I did, and I got convicted of exact.
And what year was that?
I think it was 17.
2017, right. So in this renewal packet, you did identify yes, right? So then
Yes, sir.
you submitted the document.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Is it, that's all there is to that
Yes, sir.
incident? Is
That's it.
okay. So anything else you want to say before I open it to the board?
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Any questions, board?
Any time,
No, sir.
no time for the,
No.
okay.
Probation.
Fine or ticket?
Probation, how long was that?
It was for a year. Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, sir. I throw myself on your mercy.
Thank you. Your case is submitted to the board. Well, I'll hear a motion to go in executive session or just to dispose of this matter.
Motion to dispose of the matter, to approve the renewal of the license.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, your motion carries, so you'll be renewed.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Have a great day.
All right. Good luck. On to new business, item 11A. Terminated exam waiver agreement with Georgia.
Yes, that's going to be Ms. Price.
We talked about this one before, it sounds like, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right, so I'll give you all a quick refresher. So we got a similar letter from the Georgia Board in 2022 related to the HVAC license. Y'all remember that one? So at that time, it was in April of 2022, we reached out to the Georgia Board about the HVAC. I'll give you the background because it's pretty much the same thing. And they basically said internally from a Georgia perspective, they did not have concerns from a technical experience standpoint from South Carolina applicants. Their concern was they did not have a exam in place that tested their laws like we do. Well, I brought that back to y'all as requested in a motion in October of 2022. And y'all decided to continue accepting Georgia applicants' technical exams. So we don't have reciprocity with this board, we just have exam waiver agreements. So we're just waiving the technical exam. Because that was their logic, is they were worried that South Carolina applicants needed to know their laws, which is a valid point. But we didn't have concerns with the same because we're testing them on our laws. So we get another letter, February 23rd of 2026. We have not heard anything, by the way. They said they were going to look into the HVAC. We have heard nothing since then. So we get another letter from the same board, I guess, executive or executive director for this one for the electrical exam. Same thing. And this letter I confirmed went to all states they have reciprocity with or exam waiver agreements with. So it was not just a South Carolina specific thing. I reached back out to her once we got the letter and asked what triggered this. And the response I got on February 24th of 2026 was, this action is ahead of expected legislation here in Georgia that will modify aspects of the construction industry licensing board structure if passed as presented. The electrical contractors division is part of that. The agreement stays in place until May, and at that time we will know what the statute amendments will look like. From there, we will be able to begin discussions on a new reciprocity agreement that all states with the board has an agreement. So basically, I guess they're in limbo again with this. The interesting part with all of this is, I think I've told y'all in the past, is Georgia is not very active nationally when it comes to contractor laws. We focus really hard at the national level with trying to enable more licensure portability, especially when it comes to technical exams, and we seem to keep going a little bit backwards when it comes to Georgia. Maybe this is a good sign that they're starting to look at some of that and figure out, better ways to do that, especially with their current agreements. So I don't really know the reasoning. I don't know what their legislation is that they're worried about. I can tell you some states have taken it as far, and I'm trying to remember which one it is because it's one of the southern states. Was it Louisiana? Maybe, that they've terminated their agreements with us because if you have a license in another state, welcome to their state. So this is kind of interesting because other states are taking a different approach with universal licensure, and this one's kind of going differently. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but You ultimately decided with the HVAC that we would continue to accept their technical exam there. So I guess the question before y'all is, and you know, the agenda isn't specific to electrical, so if you want to relook at HVAC, we can as well. But the question would be, do we want to do the same thing with electrical, or how do y'all want to handle it?
On the, and I have a Georgia electrical license, which I got from taking the exam over there, and that was a long time ago. But it was the block exam, which is one of the most difficult exams you can take. Do they still use the block exam?
I'm honestly not sure, and our agreement is very old. I'd have to go find it to even look. I haven't had any technical competency issues with anyone we've had coming over from Georgia. So, I mean, I know, you know, from a building code standpoint and stuff, I don't really have any of those concerns, but I'm not sure what they're doing.
So if we pass this, they just have to come over and take the laws test?
So we can't tell them what to do, obviously, we know that. So all you would be doing is saying we will continue to accept their electrical applicants who were licensed by examination in Georgia.
So we don't need to do anything, basically, because we already do that.
We do, but they terminate. So the way your statute's worded is we can have a waiver agreement, or you can determine as a board that it is the equivalent. So basically, they've terminated our agreement, so you would be saying that you're going to continue to accept their exam as an equivalent. So we're basically asking for staff parameters to continue to accept theirs in lieu of the agreement in place.
So most of the states I go to get licensed in, I'm licensed in about 10 states, they'll waive the technical exam, but they still make you take the laws exam. And I mean, I can attest that the Georgia exam is very difficult.
So, and that's the thing, is it's not changing anything here. We're just continuing to waive that. They're not going to take our exam applicants. That's the problem, but we can't help that. And we've got that notated on the current sheet on our website right now for HVAC. So this would be notated the same if you want to continue to take their applicants. So we tell people, hey, we'll send the verification over to Georgia. They're not going to take it. But if Georgia sends us verification that they're properly tested there and properly licensed, we will accept it still here if that's what y'all want to do.
Except the technical exam.
Yes, sir, as you
Okay.
do now. So,
Yeah.
so you're just going to do that outside of an actual written agreement, and you're going to give staff parameters that essentially say that that's okay.
Okay.
That sounds reasonable to me.
In a motion then, Lee.
I can add one thing to that.
Okay.
Blinking, okay. We do have a national exam, the NASCLA exam now. So ideally, more states should start accepting that and start doing that, and then a lot of these license reportability issues go away because that exam's accepted here, it doesn't matter what state you're coming from because you're going to take our business management and law exam regardless. So hopefully, the more states that continue to accept the NASCLA exam, which I don't remember how many we're at now, but it's growing pretty well. So hopefully Georgia will do the same.
That'd be moot then, at that time, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd make a motion that we waive technical exam requirements for Georgia applicants who have passed the Georgia technical exam.
Or electrical.
For electric, yeah. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so carries, motion
That's
carries.
it.
So, thank you, Molly. All right, next is travel approval for NASCLA Annual Conference, September 13th through the 17th, 2026 in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yes, sir. NASCLA will be holding their annual conference September 13th through the 17th, 2026 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. In your meeting materials on page 288, I have included the information invitation as well as a preview of the agenda for the conference. We are requesting travel approval for up to 5 staff member and up to 2 board members to attend this conference.
So we want to see what the agenda has on it first before we decide about because sometimes they do attorney training, they do investigator training, and some of that's really helpful. So we're going to wait and see when we get a little bit closer what that training is before we kind of decide which office staff. So we kind of overkilled that a little bit just to have the approval on the books when we do a travel request. But we would love for board members to attend if that's something y'all would like to do too. You do not have to decide today which 2 board members want to attend if you decide, but once there's official approval, through the meeting, then Jonathan can reach out a little bit closer to the meeting date and see who's interested in going.
And then if the board members want to go, if express interest, they email Jonathan?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, so do I have a motion to approve the NASCLA expenditure or travel expenditure?
Making motion to approve.
For 5 staff member, yeah, if you'll
Staff
say.
member, yeah.
For 5 staff
You have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, on to public comments. I don't see any public here, so I think we'll jump over that, and then do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?